How are you? There we go. It's great. How you doing? My name is Sean. I'm an alcoholic, recovered today by the grace of God, the fellowship and the program I found in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. My sobriety date is the 6th of the 6th, 06666. And I just want to thank you, Jerome, for asking me to share on step 7. I'm going to be as quick as I possibly can. Step 7. And it's humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. And in the first meeting I went to Back to Basics, Angel Street in Dublin, big book meeting, they used to say, they used to talk about the original manuscript, which said, humbly on our knees asked him to remove our shortcomings, but the other alcoholics made him take that out. So humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. Step 7. And there's a good few scriptures in this, but I'm gonna read a little bit first and then talk about my experience. Psalm 103 verse 12 says, as far as the east is from the west, so far has he removed our transgressions from us, the things we did wrong. But the part I really like is from the book, and it says, it's page 13, it says, I ruthlessly faced my sins and became willing to have my newfound friend, capital F, friend, talking about, that means it's a name. He's talking about God as his friend. Take them away, root and branch. Root and also the fruit. The fruit is what we did, but the roots are down deep inside us. And in that context, when we think about step 7, humbly on our knees asked him to remove our shortcomings. It's the internal disposition that causes us to err, to sin, the mistake, to just do the wrong thing. And I need an internal transformation from the root and branch, root, branch, fruit. Everything changed, and that's what God did in step 7. So let me read you in a little bit. It says, page 56, his alcoholic problem was taken away. So for me, I became convinced. I came to Angel Street and I heard these guys talking. I saw their faces. I saw the transformation. These weren't like the ordinary guys in AA, in NA, around the fellowships. It was noticeable that they had something that was really different, and I wanted that, Particular guys I knew, I saw how they were before and asked them what happened, and they talked about the book. We did the book. And, people outside the fellowships, when they hear that, they say, the book, what does that mean? Perhaps Christians might say, no, it's Jesus. But what they're really talking about is they're talking about the process by which someone journeys and has an encounter with Christ Jesus, and places them place themselves in his hands for transformation, and it's that journey that you can witness. It's palpable right in front of your eyes. I went in, I listened, I believed, I wanted it. I asked Owen to help me. He said I'd be honoured. Come to my house once a week for 16 weeks, and we'll go through the book, the program. So that's what happened. And over those weeks and times, I became increasingly submitted and increasingly susceptible to the power, that power which is at the heart of this program, which those guys made no bones about, that power which is God. And I was willing, and in step 1 I was confronted with my powerlessness in the face of my addiction, my alcoholism. From the earliest age, I did the wrong thing in pursuit of that hit. I just internally, to just do the wrong thing. I always fell short. I was a shortcoming in life. And I was confronted with that, and I admit I'm powerless. life is unmanageable at 40. It took till 40 years, the pain and the damage and the tragedies to really, really elicit that admission from me. And then step 2 was came to believe power greater than ourselves could restore society. And I believed that. I believed on the basis of what I saw my friend Owen. I saw the change in him. And I knew, and I saw them all. They all exhibited the same stuff. The calm demeanour, the just utter submission to something. And I knew, came to believe a power greater than the power that was at work in them could restore me. And then I'd encountered Christianity. My friend had told me, and I knew Christianity was an underlying truth. The truth underlying the totality of things. I knew that. But I just couldn't submit to that. I couldn't humble myself, you know. And at this point I was ready, and I turned my will in my life. Step 3, I've declared that God as I understood him. And what does that mean, and what did we do? It means that in terms of a program, we embarked immediately upon house cleaning, which was a moral inventory of our lives, directly after submitting my life to God. The Christians call it trust in Jesus. We call it step 3 in the fellowships, but it is essentially the same thing. It is exactly the same thing. We turn our will and our lives over to the care of God. And moral inventory, step 4, did that. Confronted totally and utterly with my past. And the power was in my life then. The grace was operational, where I could look at myself. Before I couldn't. I ran, I hid, suppressed it, shoved it down. Now all of a sudden I could confront things, and more than that, I was willing to speak about it to my friend and to Owen, and I did that. In step 5, I had a really emotional experience in his house on a Sunday morning. Started the book on the 15th of April, which is just coming up in a week's time, in 2007, which is 13 years ago. And started the book then, and Sunday morning, however many weeks later, 6 weeks after that, I arrived in Owen's gaff, train to his house. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Got a train to his house. Excuse me, that's my phone, Andrew Waltz, as you obviously heard. And did step 5 in the house. Went very emotional. I cried for most of the time. It was probably very difficult for Owen as a grown man to come in and just disgorge his past in his life, and you know, intimate details, and you know, the vulnerabilities of who he hurted and damaged. And he listened to all that, you know. And at one point I looked at him, you know, and I looked directly at him as I shared, and I was expecting him to go, "Oh my God, get out of my house!" And he didn't. I watched his eyes never changed. He looked at me and he said to me, "You just see him, that's all, it's no problem." And that was brilliant. That was a moment. The connection was made then. It was probably the first real friendship in my life was formed in that moment. Total acceptance of who I was, and he totally embraced that, and he was like, "It's no problem, there's no problem, you know, we're just humans, we fail." I didn't have to run anymore. And it was almost like the room got bigger. There was I suddenly had space. It was like I was unimprisoned anymore. I was not constricted. It was like the burden was lifted off me. It was just, I have to say, in this moment, to describe that to you, I know it's an intense experience that I'm relating to you, but every single moment of doing this program was like that for me. And in that moment when I was sharing my life story with Owen was writing down in the book, and it was like I was just in disgorge, you know, mode. And there was no. He actually asked me, "Do you want to stop? Do you want to stop?" I was like, "No, keep going. It's coming out now." So, well, at moments I thought, "What's he writing down about me?" And I didn't care, but I just kept going. But what he was actually writing down was, he wrote down possible character defects that he was hearing from my life story, character defects that were manifested and operational, causing me to take certain courses of action, easy courses, seeming easy courses, that would later manifest deeper problems for me. Cowardly courses, things like that. And that's what he did when we finished. He went through that and he asked me, do you agree? What do you think? Do you think this is the defect, or what do you think? And we went through that thoroughly as well, and left no stone unturned, and didn't left no obstacle unconfronted. Really looked upon everything, and when it was finished, I'd really taken inventory. I'd taken stock of the weak items in store, and there's a lot of weak items. And then it's like going from there, he gave me instructions. I want you to go from here, take an hour, review what I've said to you, what we've agreed, review it, and then go and take step 7 between you and God, and ask him humbly to remove your shortcomings. And I did that. To be honest, I actually fell asleep in the middle of the process, and then I woke up and had this thought, oh my God, I've ruined the process. Like probably God was waiting on me to come. And but that wasn't the case. I went in and I kneeled and I asked God. I voiced those things and asked him to remove them. And I had another amazing experience in that moment when I voiced each shortcoming. There's a list of them 2 pages before. When I voiced the shortcoming, each one, say for instance in our AA to the Faith Community book, it says resentment. I had instance flash into me consciousness of where I had been operating in resentment, and how that hadn't done me good, it had done me harm and harmed people, those people around me. And I saw, this is no good. I want rid of it. And in each one, as I went down my list, I had an experience like that. And that was amazing. In a momentary split second, everything opened up for you. An instance in time. And then lifted from you. Oh, yeah, I want it gone. Gone. Really, really amazing experience, you know. I humbly asked God, and he did it, you know. Yeah, that's my experience of step 7. It still operates today. Like John says, this is a live show. This is a live show. We live in life in all its fullness, and sometimes things creep back in, and by the grace of God today, I have the ability still, with others' help sometimes, to see myself, to assess, and then to return, to apologise, to make amends, and to humbly ask God to remove. So I hope that's of some use to somebody. I know it's 13 and a half minutes. I'm sorry, but the Lord bless you. Amen.